If you've never been in a relationship with a pathological liar, you will not be able to relate to this post. You might not be able to relate to the hurt. You will not understand how deep the cut is when a spouse derives joy in lying on their partner. It is the worst kind of betrayal that can happen. But that was my story for some time, for like 7 years. This guy would constantly just lie on me, lie on me. I came to Canada from Australia in 2018 September. I think I landed 7th of September. And then I had my baby 2019, September 23rd. So just a little over a year after I came, I had my second child, right? So my mother came October 7th, 2019 to help me with a newborn baby. But every time my mother and this guy leaves the house, usually to church, when my mother comes back, she always has a question for me. When I arrived in Canada in 2018 September, I noticed that a family member of his cousin's wife, was very disrespectful to him. She would, when we go somewhere and we meet her there and we all say, oh, maybe like good afternoon or good morning, she would just respond like, hey, Zo, hey, how you doing now? How una dey? Like he's a toddler. I am older than this girl. He's older than me, so he's older than this girl. So I was always thinking in my head, why does she always respond to him like he's a baby? And I am someone that cannot stand disrespect. So I called this attention to it. I was like, this girl is very disrespectful. Like the way she responds to you, she just says, hi, Dona, where Dona? I think it was 2019 because the matter escalated and I was pregnant. I was very heavily pregnant when the matter escalated. So it was 2019, I called his attention to it. So I was like, should I talk to her? I was like, let me bring her attention to it. Maybe she's not aware that it's disrespectful for her as your cousin's wife to be responding to you in this manner. And it was like, no, don't address it. I will talk to my auntie about it. I was like, that's fine. So he spoke with his auntie. The matter escalated. And then me and the girl came to me in church, and we fell out. And that was it. She stopped talking to me. I stopped talking to her as well. I had my baby September 23rd, 2019. I had my baby. This girl did not come to say hello to me or congratulations to me. I don't know if she said congratulations to him, but she didn't to me. So when my mother came, my mother was aware of what happened before she came to Canada. So when she came in October, my mother actually arrived October 7th, 2019. So when she came October 7th, she asked me, did this girl come to say congratulations to you or to just pay you a visit? I said no. She was like, oh my God, no, that's not good. I would like to go see her and then, so you guys can make amends and just let bygone be bygone. I said, okay. So he took my mother to her place. And then when they came back, my mother said, oh, I talked with her. Don't worry, she'll come and say congratulations to you. I said, okay, mommy, that's fine. And that was it. So one day, my mother called me and was like, Iyore, I want to ask you a question. I said, okay, mommy. She said, if it was someone else that disrespected your husband the way this girl disrespected your husband, would you have reacted the same way you reacted? I was like, oh my God, yes, mommy. Why would I watch someone disrespect my husband and be silent about it? I was like, no. In short, I was telling my mother, I said, in short, I would have dealt with the person, right? I wouldn't have even drew my husband's attention to it. I would have addressed it with the person. And my mother was like, the reason I'm asking my daughter is because your husband is of the opinion that the reason you reacted the way you reacted is because you really don't like the girl. I was like, what? She was like, yes, my daughter. That's why I had to ask you. I was like, Jesus Christ, Jesus. And that was the first one. I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to stand up for this guy and he just threw me under the bus like that. Oh my God, oh my God. And that was the first lie. That was the first shocking, moment for me that, oh my God, what am I married to? Like, did I make the right decision getting married to this person? And then one day again, my mother went to church. This time I was always at home because we haven't done our baby dedication. My mother came back from church one day and she was like, Iyore, my daughter, can I have a word with you? I said, yes, mommy. And then I sat down right next to my mother and she said, what's your plan? I was like, what do you mean, mommy? She was like, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, I was like, mommy, where is this coming from? She was like, no, because your husband, he talked to me that he has really tried to make you serious with your life, but you are not serious with your life. In fact, he invited someone to talk to you about the process of becoming a business analyst. Even up to this moment, you have never mentioned it. I was like, Jesus, I screamed. And my mother was like, no, 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 my child, I believe you. I said, no, mommy, don't believe me. There is a tendency for you to be biased because you are my mother. So I said, don't worry. You will hear the truth about this matter. You're still in this house till January because my mother left January 2020. I said, you are still in this house with us till January. You will find out who is lying and who is speaking the truth. Because before my mother came, when I arrived in Canada in 2018, before I actually arrived in Canada, I was supposed to start my RON process in Australia. But we were dating then, obviously dating over the phone. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody on earth. We're dating then, and I told him, I was like, oh, you know how you talk to your boyfriend that, oh, okay, this is your plan. I was like, oh, yeah, this is my plan. I'm going to start the RN process in Australia. And he was like, what's the need? You're going to be moving to Canada anyway after we get married. So just wait until you get to Canada and then you begin the process. I said, okay, that's true because then I will not have to pay school fees in Australia. I was like, okay, that's fine because I was an international student in Australia. I was like, okay, I won't have to pay the ridiculously expensive school fees, for nursing. So I waited, I postponed the process or I completely stopped the process. And then we got married and I moved to Canada in 2018. When I got to Canada in 2018, I brought it up again. I was like, okay, I'm here now. Let me just start the process. And he was like, don't worry. I don't think you should be in a hurry. We can just take our time. I'm not pressuring you. We're able to survive. Just take it easy. Take it slow. I'm like, okay. That was around November or that was around September, October when I came. And then he brought the business analyst, suggestion to me. He was like, don't you think business analyst will be good? I was like, okay, what's that? He was like, don't worry, I'll bring somebody to talk to you about the whole process, And I said, okay. And so he brought this friend of his, a female. She came and she really spoke to me about the process. She talked to me about the process and I was like, oh, that's really good. And she said she got her certification from SAIT, that SAIT was the school that she attended. She was like, don't worry, you like it more than RN. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I called SAIT. This thing I'm telling you happened in November because this girl, this friend of his, came for my daughter's 1-year birthday, my eldest daughter's 1-year birthday in November 2018. So that was when we had this conversation, me and this girl. So I called Seth and Seth was like, oh, you can't do the findings over the phone. You have to come in person to do the findings. I said, okay. So in December, because I remembered because we moved from one house to another house, I can see the picture clearly. In December 2018, he was on the dining table eating. And then I started to tell him, I was like, hey, I called Sato regarding that business analyst course. I called them. They said I need to come to school to do the findings. I can't do the findings over the phone. I was like, can you please take me to SAT whenever you are free? Because then he was working Monday to Thursday. Fridays, he was always off on Fridays. So I was like, can you take me to SAT so I can do the findings? Because as you all know, December is winter. I was like, I can't carry my baby, through the snow to go do findings, And he was like, okay, that's fine. He agreed to take me to SAT any Friday that he's free. That December 2018 was the year that he got his citizenship. So we had to travel to Manitoba, Winnipeg for the ceremony. And I think we spent about 2 weeks with his family there in Manitoba, his uncle or his cousin or his eldest cousin. So when we got back from Manitoba, it was already Christmas break time and everything. And then in January, I found out I was pregnant with my second child, January 2019. Oh my God, that was the most depressing time of my life. I would cry every day, almost every day. For the first 6 months, I was crying every day. I was crying. This is not how I planned my life. Why am I pregnant? I was always crying, so that was how I was really depressed throughout that pregnancy until I had my child. But when my mother came, when this guy wanted to report this into my mother, he lied. He said, I never brought up the process of getting that business analyst certification up with him. I did not. I was like, Jesus. So when my mother told me, I was like, Mommy, don't worry. You will find out who is lying. So and I left the room my mother was in. I cried that day. I was like, oh my God, what is this? What have I gotten myself into? I really cried. So anyway, I said I was going to vindicate myself. I was going to prove to my mom that he lied on me, that he's a liar. And so, I just started looking for a way that we could get into an argument. So one day, something very minor happened, and then I blew it up because I wanted it to result into an argument so that I can then ask him this thing because my mother was still around. So I blew up the little argument, very minor. I blew it up. And then I started to talk to him. I was like, when I came into Canada, didn't I tell you that I was going to start the process of becoming an RON, and you advised me to look into becoming a business analyst, and then you brought this girl that is your friend. I started to mention everything, all the conversations that we've had up to that moment. I was like, so why did you go and tell my mother that you don't know what I'm about to do, that you don't know the plans that I have for my life, that since you brought that girl to talk to me about the process of becoming a business analyst, I have never mentioned it to you again? Do you know what his response was? He was like, yes, even if I advised you to halt the process, don't you have your brain to think for yourself? That was his response. And my mother was upstairs. My mother heard everything that happened that day from the beginning to the end. And I said, for this statement that you have made, this was me now responding to him. I said, for this statement that you have made, you lose the right as the head of this home to tell me what to do. So I went upstairs to my mom. It was in the evening. This thing happened in the evening. So I went upstairs to my mom. I was like, Mommy, did you hear? My mother said, yes, my daughter, I heard everything. Don't worry about it. I said, okay, that experience, that particular experience broke my trust in this guy. I lost every iota of trust in him. I lost trust in his ability to lead. I lost trust in his ability to stand up for the truth. I lost trust in his ability to advise me. I lost trust in every way that you can think of. I just lost trust in him. I was like, oh my God, for me and the man that I call my husband to discuss something, and then he will go behind me to turn it around, to present me as the one that is unserious, as the one that is a liar, as the one that doesn't have direction in life. I was like, Jesus, what have I gotten myself into? That experience also opened my eyes. I started to tell myself, Iyore, now you are in this alone. You have to start making decisions for yourself. And that was why in 2020, after my mother left in January, I did a certification with Bow Valley College in human resources. When I was about to start the process, he came again. For me, I don't just think this process. I said, no. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me no. I am doing this certification in human resources because I had my master's in human resources in Australia. So I said I was going to do a certification in human resources. And I said, no. You cannot tell me. I will not allow you convince me not to do this thing. The lies that he told to my mom broke me so much. I was like, to my own mother, this person can lie like this on me. To my own mother. Do you know that my mother also said, I was telling my mom, this is not how I planned my life. If I just find out that she's not really serious, when I want to divorce her, I will just stop working so that government will not know how much I'm earning. It's not my plan to actually marry two women though. It was never my plan to marry two wives. But the way it's going, he was telling my mother, the way he's going, the way everything is going, it's like I don't have a choice. This was in 2019/2020, beginning of 2020, January 2020, because my mother left January 15th or January 16th, 2020. So he was telling my mother already that when he wants to divorce, because my mother told me. And so when we had a quarrel between July to September 2020, and then he told me, the reason why we quarreled was different, but he mentioned a lot of things before what caused the quarrel. He told me that he was going to stop working. So when he told me that, and the matter escalated, that quarrel also escalated, I told my mom, I reminded my mom, I said, Mommy, remember you said that this guy already told you that when he wants to divorce me, he will stop working so that government will not know how much he's earning. So he will not pay so much in child support. I remember I sent my mother a voice recording reminding her of what she told me he said. And this thing I'm telling you, I have a recording where I was asking him as well. It was like, I don't know how your mother told you, but that's not the way I said it. The way I said it was that. But what am I saying? What's the essence of me sharing this? Is that if you get married to somebody that lies, it's only a matter of time. You will lose trust in that person. And once there is no trust in a marriage or in a relationship, it is bound to end. And to be very honest with you, the earlier it ends, the better for you. The earlier it ends, the better for you, except you want to continue to remain in a place where somebody continually lies on you, like continue unprovoked. He or she will just take joy, find pleasure in lying on you. So these are the lies that he told to my own mother. In subsequent videos, I will share the lies that he told to his friends. And this thing I'm talking about, I am not somebody that when you lie on or when I hear that you lied about me to somebody, I will not ask you. I will definitely ask you. I'll be like, hey, this is what I heard you said. Did you say it? So all of these things I am saying, I have recordings of me asking him to defend himself, to prove to me that those people, including my mom, lied on him. And he was unable to. He was unable to. Even with all these lies that he told to my mom, I did not start documenting events until September 2020. He lied again on me to his friends. That was when my eyes were eventually opened, and then I decided to start recording conversations. I'll record conversations between the both of us. So we are talking and I'm recording. That lie that he told on me to his friend was what prompted, was what gave me the idea to start documenting. I pray that if you're someone here and you're asking God to help you to work out because you know this is not where you want to be, I pray that God gives you the strength. I pray that God in his infinite mercy gives you the courage and the strength to walk out of that relationship. God bless you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.